Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Classic Quest podcast. It's episode 54. It's your boy HSR.
It's your lady friend, Bonnie.
And unfortunately, Chris had a big family emergency pop up, so he couldn't be here with us tonight, but he will be back as soon as possible.
ASAP.
So
hopefully next week.
Yeah, so we'll get on with the housekeeping. You can skip that by checking when the episode starts in the description below. Mm-hmm. And this is our favorite comment from last week on Method Man's Tikal album, and it's from Papa Doonberry. And he said, I need all three of y'all to understand that rap hip-hop music is not to be taken so damn literal. Black people create great shit for the world unknowingly because it's natural and it isn't meant to be exploited. Money is motivational, of course, and having talent can be beneficial. So this is where we are as far as music is concerned, but some of the things y'all analyze is just too much. The flow and energy is important for this genre. This music was popular with us before it became a worldwide trend. It's fun without the fans, so some of the stuff you hear is metaphoric, whether positive or negative, because black people make something from nothing. The original creators are the most oppressed. Do your Googles. Love the show, by the way. So,
absolutely.
So first off, I just wanted to respond to a couple of things. I'm a really analytical person. It is so hard to not go over the top with some of the stuff we're going to think about. And maybe you're absolutely right, and it kind of takes away from the art, or it might not be what you're supposed to do when you listen to hip-hop, but I can't help it. It's just kind of who we are. And I'm certain that as time goes on, we'll be more acclimated to the sound and better able to kind of just feel it the way it's meant to be, like something we realized after the fact. It was
I think no matter what type of music you're listening to, I think it's always going to tell a story. If there's lyrics, it's going to tell a story. And I think, in a different way, if it's just an instrumental, that's a different thing. I mean, it's still going to tell a story in a different way. But I think you have more questions, you have more, you want more understanding with songs, just doing it from like a breakdown point of view. I mean, I'm doing those, and I'm doing it because, I have questions. I want to understand what these artists were trying to say. And whether or not they're the greatest artist or not, I understand, of course.
But I think from his perspective, it's just that, when they started making this music, they kind of had no idea it would turn into this platform to be what we maybe perceive it as now. So we look at it under a certain lens.
And rappers do make different type of music now.
I think that, as an example, the mixing on Tikal was very much on purpose. It was exactly what it was supposed to be.
It's supposed to be very raw and unfiltered.
To, just consider it, in comparison with maybe sounds that came later, it's just, I get where he's coming from in the comment. Although, I still think it's worth taking a look at this stuff. Otherwise, I'd just be kind of out here doing what everyone else does when they react to certain songs and whatnot. But for a lot of it is to just understand, right? That's what this whole purpose of this is for. We get lots of comments about how we don't understand the culture because we don't come from it. I know there's a forum thread out there where a bunch of folk are completely unhappy with what we do on this channel.
Well, some people are. I think some people have our backs. And thankfully we appreciate
it's not
both
really,
of you.
But just to be clear from the intention of where we're at, it's understanding. We obviously don't come from that world. But by looking into the music, and then when you look at the news, this is a fascinating gateway to understand some of the issues that are happening in this world. And so I think there's value in more and more people doing it. My favorite comment I've seen is, how would you feel if we reviewed country music? And I'd be totally fine. I don't understand country either, so I'd join you on that quest. But, man, I totally maybe
that would just be so much harder to do, I think, than this, because it would just be harder and less fun to listen to.
I can truthfully say I have no idea what it's like to be a rural person in Middle America. None at all.
I know what it's like to be a rural person in Middle Canada.
Well, you were in Quebec, but
yeah, you know what I mean.
So, I'm just saying, all these different musics have all these different cultures and different realities attached to it, and I think one of the beauties of what we're doing is trying to take culture that maybe isn't ours and understand it better. And that's at least my intention with this, because I realized at the beginning I thought I knew what I was talking about, and now I just realize how I have no idea what I'm talking about. So total value in this so far. Anyway, I love that comment. I like the people who take the time to like share their honest truth with us, you know, how you feel when you see it. Like I don't know. For us, we just only know as we go and we learn more. And as far as the Googling part, Google's a very interesting beast. Basically, what you can do in terms of Googling is read everything, but with no real filter as to what's real and what's fake. So
yeah, sometimes it's hard to find out, like if it's like a true story or if it was just sort of like a tabloid story that was, you know, you're looking at.
On top of that, I find that one comment can tell me what to Google a lot more than blindly going and Googling about artists can, because it's going to be the same nonsense that dominates Google as what's currently. If you look into the SEO world, it's drama bullshit that wins, and it's no different than anything else. So going blind, it's been really challenging to learn, but over the last year and a bit, we have come a long way. Anyway, that was just a lot different than I thought it was going to go.
I just want to say one thing about his comment that, you know, absolutely I agree with the fact that you know, Black people making anything for the world is good. And yes, it's, you know, they started off, you know, from nothing. You know, I mean, we picked them up and just plopped them down here, right, in America, in North America, and so it's true. And I think that it's great. And you know, I think that, you know, we're all just continuing to grow, and you know, everyone's getting like these chances to expand. And I think that that's.
And I completely understand how a lot of people do just take from other cultures and et cetera. But really, we're coming from a point of trying to respect and admire it and understand it. I don't know. I'm seeing what's happening with Bruno Mars right now. It's all just sorts of questions, you know. Anyway, that's enough of that. If you do leave comments, moving on to a little more capitalism, you can, we'll keep track of any requests you have, put it onto the request list that you can find in the description of this video.
Yeah.
On top of that, we have the Grind to 1,000 subscribers contest happening. As of recording this, we are at 897 subscribers, so we are getting so much closer. And if you like what we do and you think it's worth it, just hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, and leave a comment either about the album, about our review, about anything that was just mentioned. Let us know what you think, because it's really important for us to create that conversation and that dialogue. And if you do leave that comment, you enter into a raffle where first prize will be $100 of Amazon gift card money, plus you get to request a review. Second prize is $50 of Amazon gift card money, plus you request a review. And third prize is going to be $25 of Amazon gift card money, plus again, you can request a review for any one of those prize winners. And for every video that we put out that you go and like and leave a comment on, you get extra entries into that raffle. And your support, for those of you who do support what we do and who do contribute to those comments, it really does mean a lot. Like the last thing in his comment was a good review. I like what you do. And
if you guys are going to hate on us, thanks for like at least like giving us feedback.
And like, I don't take it like he was hating on us. I think
no, of course not. But I think he
genuinely trying to help us like understand, because honestly, I don't. And so that's why sometimes though, you do come across some albums that might be a little bit simpler to digest in terms of who they're targeted at.
Yep.
Why don't you introduce this week's album?
This week we are doing Harlem World by your man Mase.
And this was by request. I saw it recently. I saw it a couple of times. I don't know exactly how many times. So for those of you that wanted us to talk about this album, it's happening tonight. Bonnie, do you know about Mase? What do you know about him?
Surprisingly, I mean, like listening to this whole album, there was a few songs that right away just like plopped me back into my like childhood, brought me back to like 10, 11 years old or something. When I was listening to, I think it was the 97 best.
Like, I think it was Much Vibes.
Yeah, it was like the Much Music Dance.
So,
like,
just to be clear, Much Music is Canadian MTV for those of you who don't know.
Yeah, and so it was like the hits basically of like 97, and that song was on it, and it's like you're listening to a CD, and like that was your only option, and so like all of the songs on it, and so like that's how I ended up knowing Mase's song.
It's true. Like, I know that I had, like, I think it was the 2002. It was the year with Bad Boy for Life on it, and I know that whole album. Every one of those songs I know so well. Because, pre-internet days, not all of us had access to the LimeWires and the such so early on. So.
Oh, yeah.
But, man, I never really, I heard a couple of tracks on here that I was like, I know this song. Anyway.
Yep.
But honestly, I don't know who Mase is outside of that. I know him. I know he's on Mo Money, Mo Problems with Biggie. I know that he was on the Lean Back remix, and he said who else could take 5 years off and come back and hit whatever. I know he was a pastor, and he quit to be a pastor. I know very recently he took shots at Cameron, and they had a little beef. I think it was Mase who started up that round. But that's some of that drama stuff that I think that these people do for a little bit of attention, because I hear that Cameron and Mase are notorious for faking beefs. I don't know. I'm saying in my brief little, sometimes I go on these tangents where I look up the stories behind rap beefs and stuff, and I don't know, maybe I'm crossing some details there, but I don't know anything else really about him, except that this album was an interesting experience in that regard. I kind of came into it blind.
Yeah.
I do like this cover. It's just him with the Harlem World tattoo on his arm.
Well, he looks like he's trying. I'll just say that much. Like, he's obviously posing like this and like trying to look cool and trying to like show off his tattoo and trying to like do everything all at once. And so, but I also appreciate the fact that he's kind of like giving like a peace sign, because I think he is like truly in his heart. I think he is a bit of a hippie, and he just wants to have peace, you know, as much as he's like, you know, a gangster thug kind of guy.
Keep in mind, he's no longer Murda Mase at this point.
Exactly.
I like that he had a dollar sign. As I understand it, there's no dollar sign anymore. So I didn't put dollar sign because I didn't think there was one anymore. And yeah, otherwise it's pretty standard. I mean, it's him. It's a good way to like put a face to it, but the album cover does like virtually nothing for me except identify Mase, Harlem World, the Big M, and whatnot. And I guess that there will be some cussing on it. It works. It's just that some album covers are really cool.
But it's also quite a light cover. Like, it's, you know, light colors that are on it. He's wearing white. You know, the background is like blue and white. And
it's kind of faded and stuff. But, like,
I think that it's like brighter than a lot of other like rappers' albums.
That's
and I
fair.
think that he's also a little bit lighter in his music too.
And I like the part where he's in focus in his face, but his body is... Anyway, not much else to... I don't really have a lot to say there.
Yeah.
You want to jump into this and start talking?
Heck yes.
All right, well, Puff Daddy, as we'll refer to him, it has an intro.
All right, let's hear it.
Harlem, USA.
All right, Bonnie, start us off. How did you feel about Mr. Daddy's intro?
Well, I liked it. It had like a 60s, 70s kind of a feel. But it was obviously like, you know, the present, you know, at that time. You know, and he just sort of like introducing, like saying like, this is Harlem World, it's Mase's world. And it's a story of life, death, sex, drugs, happiness, jealousy, envy, reality. This is his world. This is Harlem World, Harlem World, Harlem World. So I think that that's kind of like a cool way to end it, and like a cool way to start it at the same time. So it's just like setting, like, it sets the theme, and it just sort of sounds like Puff Daddy's like the narrator and just like introducing him and saying like, this is who he is and this is his world. Listen to his story.
Fair enough. What'd you give it?
I gave it a 4.5 on 5. I liked it.
So I wasn't sure what to expect. I suppose I have this bias to just think everything Puff Daddy does is trash. So I was...
You just want to think so.
I mean, I know Ready to Die was a good album, and he kind of was the... Anyway, maybe it's just because I remember that Diddy Did song.
Diddy did.
But this comes in, and I remember... Recently I've learned that, like, in this era, Puff was trying to make hip-hop, like, huge and grandiose and, like, orchestral and, like, cinematic. And, like, he had this vision for, like, almost high-classing hip-hop is how I understand it, right? And at least at this point was his era of goodness. And I was thinking of that when I was listening to just the choice of the big music in the background, the, like, almost 70s film introduction, like introducing some sleazy, I want to say one of those blaxploitation films, but I'm not 100% sure if it was one of those. But it's kind of like I pictured the trailer of one of those that I saw recently. It had the same kind of tone in the way he was talking. So I feel like he was trying to like tap into the roots and say that this is an experience, like it's almost like a motion picture through album. And I like it when people take that approach to an album. It kind of makes it a little bit more than just a collection of songs. It makes it more of an experience. So I thought it was really effective. I mean, you more or less quoted what I wanted to quote. He kind of describes where he's from. He sets the setting. It's literally just a really decent introduction. I as well gave it a 4.5 on 5. I was surprised at how much I really enjoyed the way Puffy sounded in this one, and it really set it up for the next track and made me kind of excited to hear.
Do you want to get money?
Fuck about that road.
Okay, so here we come in with Mase and Diddy, and I think it was sampled the chorus from another thing, but I might be wrong, and it might have been a girl.
Okay. Well, it's Kelly Price.
Oh, right. My bad. I fucked that up.
Yep.
Go on.
Yeah, so I mean, I like this one. It sounds really cool. It had my head and like my foot going like right away. So I thought it sounded cool. I liked that it was sort of scratchy sounding, like it was like maybe like supposed to be on a record or there was a record going. This is sort of just his introduction. This is like, him, saying who he is. And he's not trying to like replace Biggie because he's like friends with him and, or was friends with him and, is from like the same crew and he kind of grew up like, same place, I guess. And all these people, they all doubted him, but now they want to be him and they're just trying to like make money off of him. He's just rich and has money now, and that's pretty much it. And he wants to make money, and he's saying like join me, like let's make money, let's all make a lot of money. So he's pretty nice and he's friendly. I like that about him. I really like this. The only thing that I have to say about this is that he doesn't say necessarily how he's going to make money, or how like everybody can make money. So I maybe I just missed it. So I gave this a 4.5 on 5.
Okay, I think that he's making money off of the music, and part of what I quoted out of the first verse was, now all the labels want to send me a memo to do a remix, y'all, but may say, no, figure once I make it, they'll fake it, and ain't nobody showed me love when I was naked. Mm-hmm. And then he threw my tape in the trash. I laughed. Now on tape on blast, I laugh. So if I understand correctly, first of all, may I state that the flow that Mr. Mase brings, I can see how somebody at first glance may like assume that this flow is kind of bad or lazy or whatever, and then you realize that it's like this smooth, lazy, like he sounds almost nonchalant the entire way through, and I find it really impressive when rappers can come in with like super intensity but still remaining almost nonchalant, like
yeah,
Mase,
it's a very easy song to listen to, like just like the way he sounded, the way the girls sounded, it was very like easy, I guess.
A good way to put it is Mase doesn't have to say he doesn't give a fuck. Like,
yeah,
you can just tell.
He just comes off like that.
But like, and he rhymes really well. Like, and it's like, I guess I wrote him off because he was part of Bad Boy, but holy shit, this was really like a really good series of verses. Why do what most do what you supposed to, make hot jams, y'all, sell by coastal. If you want to hit, you can let me coach you, money back on anything that got my vocals. So clearly he's stating here in terms of how he's going to make money that if you pay him to put him on your song, you're guaranteed to make your money back because his vocals being on your track is going to guarantee the hit status of your song, thus returning the investment. So I really think it's really his whole quest is to make money through music, put into work, create more stuff. It's very much of the let's focus on the money, not the beef, not the aggression. He does have some stuff, but like you really get the sense that he's very focused on, and I might be wrong, folks. This is what I'm taking from this one song, not the lifestyle. I don't actually know. I wasn't there. I heard the album. I'm responding to what I heard in the song. And Yeah, so it looks like he's really like, okay. So, and then another thing I like is how he kind of responds to any potential claims that he's replacing Mr. Notorious B.I.G. with.
Yeah.
See, the moral of the story is I'm not here to replace Notorious. I'm just a young cat trying to do his thing, Harlem World style, pursue my dream. Because see, the thing that went through Mill, I didn't even like that. So I was curious about that. And apparently he had a really big song with Puff Daddy that, went 3 mil or whatever, sold a whole bunch, but he wasn't really into it. He seemed to not necessarily like the fact that the verse that he wrote went to Puff and that, whatever. And I guess he kind of like was like, don't put me in a box of the label of this pop shit that happened to sell really well. That's not really who he is.
Fair.
He's coming in, and it's funny because this is definitely more on the pop R&B side of things,
Well, it just made me feel like 90s. Like it made me like it right away like gave me that era vibe, like the late 90s.
This
like,
is the kind of sound you would expect when I was first getting into music at like 10, 11 years old. This is kind of what the stuff on the radio sounded like.
and like there's that little like Canada, beep or like that little like noise that like is consistent like randomly throughout the song. And like that like also sounded like very like 90s. I don't know how else to describe it. Like that little beep, like the little noise that's in it.
Yeah, so all in all, I'd say it's a good song. Standard. I gave it a 4 on 5. Part of it is that the beat kind of didn't do a lot for me. It was a little bit on the generic side. It was a little bit on it was fine. While Mase is very talented on it, I don't know. Like I felt like it just sounded exactly like one of those pop songs that I might not have listened to. And I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I think it's a good song, just not as much for me. What'd you give it?
Does a rap song become a pop song when it goes mainstream?
I don't know. It was on the radio, or it could be. I'd say that's pop. See, like pop is actually just popular music.
Yeah.
We try to attribute specific weird subgenres. Like Backstreet Boys defined pop because everybody said it was. If everybody says Migos is pop, then that's actually what pop is, and that's like technically speaking what pop music is.
Yeah, it's popular culture, right? So makes sense.
Anyway, what'd you give this one?
I gave it a 4.5. I liked it.
All right, so I'm going to take what's yours because it's not yours.
Rude.
Just wait to say you broke. Can't keep a whip because you can't pay the note. Fuck this out.
Did you expect to see DMX right after that last one?
No, I mean, when I looked at like the first time I looked at just like the album's track listing and then saw all the features on it, I was like, who is this guy? Why does he have so many cool random features? Like, like it's just random. Like he's got everybody.
I think that's what Puff Daddy does, right?
Yeah, it must be. It's like he's got, connections like all over the place. So, yeah, we've got DMX on this one. And he's like great as usual and has like his like roughness and has, he does his whole growl thing.
But he does the singy DMX-y voice here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that kind of a voice.
The only thing I found is that even though he did all these things, he still didn't sound so tough. Or as tough as he can sound. And anyway, so like this is just like me just saying that he's sort of like the newest member of Bad Boy. That's like basically it. Like I wasn't like a huge fan of the beat. Basically, they're both kind of saying that he's, they're both saying that they're tough. And he's, and they've got tough friends, so don't mess with them, don't fuck with him. Overall, I found it kind of a boring song. There were a few lines I didn't like. Like, that's what you... I don't even want to say the word. Get trying to fuck with... I think with his image. I think that's what it was. Yeah, I don't know. I just found this whole song kind of like lackluster and boring. It wasn't... For me, it wasn't a great song. I gave it a 3 on 5, mostly because DMX is there.
I liked this one a lot. I thought it was way better, and I thought it was an interesting choice of placement, right? So the album comes in, and it's like it's Mase's World with that introduction, and you got like this soft, more R&B, more maybe let's say female-friendly song, and then to let everybody else know that he's still kind of street or whatnot, he comes in with more of that hard sound, DMX on the hook coming in. But yeah. I don't know. I thought DMX just came in with his good hook singiness. I didn't really think much of it. I like it when he comes in with that voice he used there. I dug the energy on this song, and the rhyming was like, I thought it was good in the first song, and to me this whole everything about his flow here, and it shows how his nonchalance can go from smooth and like almost friendly to aggressive and don't
It's
fuck
like a
with
warning.
me. Like, just flip it over, but you can still tell it's Mase. You can still, like, you know it's him, but it's a completely different tone with such a subtle shift, and I thought that was super fucking impressive. I know I'm not supposed to be analytical, but I can't help it. That's what I noticed. But all I ask when I die, dress me fly neatly and brush my waves so I'm handsome when the bitches greet me. Word from the wise, jerk pies, we hurt them guys. Bust lead to skin they head and leave them circumcised. What an incredible set of lines right there. I mean, just the idea that his biggest concern is that when he's dead, he's going to look like fresh, so that the last impression he has of the world and everyone seeing him when people come to his funeral is him looking really good. Like, he wants to make sure he goes out looking fly. And, like, I mean, I've never even thought about that once in my entire life, what I would look like when I died. Now it might be actually a concern of mine. But it's crazy, just that. And then, honestly, to skin their head and leave them circumcised, that's a brilliant fucking, like, little pun there.
Yeah.
And bust lead, making it kind of a dick rhyme, right? To skin their head. I mean, I'm a Jew. That line just got me right in the feels. I saw that and I was like, really well fucking placed. I don't know. And then, like, right after that, so how you want to settle this? Rapping or on some ghetto shit? We can do it your way with mics or with metal shit. And he's just letting you know that there's the version of him that's got the streets up in him and the version of him that'll settle it on the mics. And however you want to approach it, he's not really the fake type. He'll take you out, whether it's on whichever version of the steel you want to approach. I really dug that. Another thing I really liked is he's like, yo, before it's all over, a lot of blood gonna be spilled. We ain't discriminating. Even thugs gonna be killed. Mm-hmm. We early inheritors born into cream. If got the chase, then we form as a team. Bullshit if you want it and be on for his cream. The weatherman don't even know what the storm I'm gonna bring. And you just get the sense that he's ruthless here, right? Like, I like the fact that he's all about the business. He's very practical. He's about that thing. And he's not really discriminating. If you get in his way, whoever, thug, civilian, whoever, you're going to die. He doesn't care. You got to get out of there. I know it's allegorical. I'm just describing the words he's saying. I'll stop doing that. Maybe it'll just be annoying. But, I mean, it's really great expression. Now, if you were to take the parable of all the violent lyrics and put it into, like, okay, how I picture it is a rap battle. Is like they're Mortal Kombat characters with health bars above their heads. And dope-ass lines like this are really good combos that attack the health line. Now you know how I picture these things when I say stuff like, he killed them. And I just, like, you know, it's cool to me to see this excellently put together wordplay, and you get the sense that, like, he really understands. Okay, like, honestly, not to just keep quoting him, but then he won't creep quick. I let the heat spit, make a G flick, classic criminal, keep a gap by my genitals. That's awesome. Like, it's just when somebody goes out there with the bluntest, most upfront, like, base language, that's when you start to know that they're just kind of speaking from the heart, because it may have been a real experience. It's not so much fake shit. It's when they come up with the weirder ways of saying it, and I appreciate that. I give this a 4.75, mostly.
Oh, wow.
Because the beat was a little bit subpar to me, but in general, that griminess, everything about it hit me really good. This is a song I could see myself going back to and shit. Anyway.
Wow.
Next up, Mad Rapper Interlude.
All right.
Son, come on, son. Don't be talking like, yo, son, you can't be talking like that, son, for real. Them niggas don't.
Yo, this one took me like 3 or 4 listens in a row to wrap my head around what the fuck was happening here, but I think I got it.
Really? So okay, tell me, because I literally wrote down, I have no idea what happened here.
Okay, so there's 3 separate, distinct characters that appear, and you got a picture, and this is how I pictured it.
Yeah.
A TV talk host, there's the host, and then you got like 2 chairs. So, like, picture the host is here, and then me and Bonnie are the 2 other characters.
Yeah.
One is the mad rapper, who's a mad rapper, and the other is mad producer, who is the mad producer, the guy who made the track or whatever.
Okay.
So the TV host is kind of like, and they're saying, Mr. Mad Producer, oh, you're not actually that mad. And then he kind of like, I'm not going to tell you anything. I don't know why I would. And then it kind of turns into a little bit of an argument where the mad producer is like, yeah, Mase is valid. I gave Mase my shit. I backed him, I gave him a beat or whatever, right? And then the mad rapper is kind of interrupting, like, oh, blah, 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 why is Mase doing this? I'm all good, everybody's got a shine, I want my chance too, blah, 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 blah. And the mad rapper character is kind of interrupting and pissed off that he is not getting the same attention that Mase is getting. So in the same way, I believe DMX is on this album for the sole purpose of saying Mase is a valid rapper and I endorse him. I think that this track follows suit in this little skit, and it's this mad producer's way of saying Mase is legit. I validate him. All I have to say, I gave it a 4 because it's thoroughly entertaining to listen to, even the 3 or 4 times in a row. It's not like I got bored. Some of them are kind of annoying or really stupid, but this one, you could see there was a point to it. Like, you had a reason to go back and try to decipher it a little bit. So I was cool with that. What'd you give it?
Yeah. For me, I would skip this every time. It was just like, it just was like a few guys like yelling at each other. And like, it just didn't sound like it was very fun. Like, I wouldn't listen to this again. It's not my favorite. I'm sorry. I gave it a 2 on 5.
Okay. We'll go to the next one then. And it's Will They Die For You?
Yes, let's find out.
Quit believe this shit. When I talk about a Benz, let you see the 6. And when I'm talking to a
I just gotta start by saying it's awesome how like Mase's hook here is almost a complete response to the subject matter in the last skit. Like, yeah, how many that'll die for you? How many get a key, slice the pie with you? I ain't talking about those that get high with you. No infrared on your head and they ride with you. Yep. So I think it's kind of, you have like the mad producer kind of validating that Mase is real, and then Mase kind of now putting it down on this track a little bit. What is real for him? Who's the type of people he's like, you know? And I like how I like how the skits tie into the songs, and at least it doesn't feel like an aimless use. Like, as the 90s go on, the skits seem to get a little bit better. Yeah. How did you feel about this one?
Well, I mean, it was all right. It was just sort of about like, know who like your ride or die friends are. And they're not just anybody, like they're not just like the guy that you get high with, like, you know, it's just like your buddy. Like, you need to have like real support and like guys who are gonna have your back no matter what, and like they won't let you down. So like you have to like pick and choose who those people are going to be and like know that they're gonna have your back. So for me, like there was kind of an annoying kind of like whine in the background, like a little or whatever it was. I can't remember exactly how it went, but I found that to be kind of annoying. There was Lil Kim on this one, with Puff Daddy, and Lil Kim, she says the line, "Lil Kim spread like syphilis. You think I'm pussy? I dare you to stick your dick in this."
Love it.
And I know that it's like a reference to Biggie, but it just sounds like she's got like syphilis. And like just the way that like she's like daring you to like put your dick in there, even though she has something. But like she actually like makes this song a little bit more bearable.
Well, just to add to that, the line right before is, "I'm the same bitch that y'all want to try your luck with," and then if you try your luck with her, you know,
she's just giving you the heads up.
But yeah, I can see what your point is.
Yeah. So I just found this whole song to be just sort of like good effort, but it felt kind of flat for me. Like it wasn't like his best. And yeah, like I said, Lil Kim made this song a little bit more entertaining and bearable for me. I gave it a 3.25.
Fair enough. I feel like my first comment is Puff Daddy is perfectly fine. He's not good. He's not annoying. Yeah. He's not bad. But he also doesn't actually say anything I found overly substantial. But like at the same time, he's fine. He just comes in, he does his thing, and he goes. He's right there at the beginning. So if you want any of the rest of it, you got to deal with it. But at least you can. Mm-hmm. Mase has a pretty solid verse. I like lines like, "This year Cancun, guess who I'm going with? My own. See, I pay my own trip." And I respect that. Like, I come from some poor ass shit, and so the idea of going to Cancun is like a dream. Even to this day, I have yet to do something like that. So to like get to a place where you can go ahead and be there and bring your people, not just yourself, it means something. So I relate to that really well.
Yeah.
I also like when he hypes himself up for a little bit more. He just and I did this and I did that, whatever. I knock my own shit like I'm on my own dick, because you know how everyone's like, get off my dick and all that expression there. He's so like whatever. He's so into how his accomplishments are going that it basically sounds like he's on his own dick. Well played. I enjoyed hearing that. It really made me get a chuckle. I also like he's like, better slow down, telling you now, put the dough down, kick your door down, surround the block where you go now, 50 shots spit at you, and that's not a whole round. Way I leave the furniture, think it was a co-found. And anyway, I like how he kind of comes in and he's very aggressive there, and it just sounds pretty freaking good. I can't remember exactly what I thought was overly substantial there, but I did really just kind of enjoy the idea that he's so complete. Oh yeah, he's so complete with it, right? That you just get the sense that he isn't the one who's going to make stuff happen in a very direct way. He has people, he's connected, he knows how to use his people to come in and accomplish stuff. He feels very much like a boss in that. And as far as Lil Kim comes in, she makes some cultural references that I had to Google, and they became, I guess, very dated, and I'd never heard of what she was talking about. So I found out that one of the lines she says is in an accounting firm or a financial advisory firm, and it was their slogan, and I'm like, oh, yeah, it's some shit that I don't know. And in general, her verse was cool. She sounded more confident than in the album we reviewed, and so I thought that was cool. It makes me want to hear more of Lil Kim's work of that era. At the end of the day, I gave this one a 4.2. It's a decent song, but like I would say it's fun to listen to, and I know that there's a good vibe for this type of song. Like this is like if I wanted to throw a 90s dance party, this is definitely going to go on that list, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it's all right. 4.2. Anyway,
Okay.
Looking at Me is the next one on this.
With Puff Daddy.
Pants sag down to the floor. Really do it matter as long as I score? Can't
All right, Bonnie, start us off.
Well, I just want to say that Mase and Puff Daddy have a very similar sound. And like in a few songs, like they really like that they're on together. There's like a really like, it's very clear to me at least that they sound very much alike, and that I think that maybe he's copying Puff Daddy. Or just is inspired by him.
I think it's more Puff Daddy said, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this.
Okay, maybe. Anyways, I just wanted to mention that. And then, so he's just sort of like, why are you coming at him when he's just like chilling in a club? Like, you know, like why, you know, like the bad guy, you know, if he's obviously trying to start something, like why are you looking at him? You know, just like bad timing. And there's like kind of like whispering in the background, like the, why are you looking at me? Like kind of in the background. And then so he's just sort of like, my girl's like tough as hell. Like don't think that, you know, just because I'm alone in the club and I don't have like my boys on my back, like, or to have my back, that you know, like you're gonna get away with anything. Like if you try something. So Puff Daddy sort of like made Mase kind of clean up, and he's making money now because of him. So he's sort of saying that and like thanking him a bit. And girls like him, and they say as long as you don't want like money, and you can join him in his hotel room, and bring 4 friends. And you got to be quick and don't leave a hickey because he's got his wife with him.
That line's pretty brilliant, though, because he's going to be in room 112, 112 being the
band.
4-person R&B group, so you have to bring friends for them, too.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is like, I don't know. It's funny, but it is sort of like, well, I guess he's obviously like a player, but he doesn't want to have like his wife find out, I guess.
Well, the main girl can't see Mark, so she's going to ask questions. You don't have to deal with that drama.
Nobody wants that. I don't know. It was an okay song. It was fun, but it wasn't substantial. Like, as soon as it finished, like, I forgot about the song. I forgot that it even existed. And I know that doesn't sound good. I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Okay. So, from the first second it started, you could tell that this beat was a little bit different, and I looked at who the producer of the track was, and it's the Neptunes. So it definitely has that Neptune's feel, in my opinion, especially that era of that kind of stuff. So I thought it was really nice. I think it's one of the better beats on the album.
The beat was good, yeah.
So like even right now as we're talking, it's one of the only beats that we've heard so far that is just consistently looping in my head because it's such an earworm. So I think that has a lot going for it. Mase is quite the dancer is something we've learned over the music videos.
Yeah, I watched music videos. Like, how did you get girls with moves like that? I'm sorry.
Honestly, is the shoulder thing is that I don't. Can you guys tell me some Google? Can you tell me where to Google some more about dancing? I would love to understand that more. I'm not trying to be a shit. It was just kind of funny to watch Mase wiggle around at weird angles in the various music videos.
Yeah, it was weird.
But yeah, it's pretty good. I like the way he starts it. Now what the hell is you looking for? Can't a young man get money anymore? Let my pants sag down to the floor. Really do it matter as long as I score? I kind of get where he's coming from.
Well, plus it was like that time where everybody had like those low pants.
Yeah, but he's right, yo. If you pull off what you got to do, it doesn't matter if you have a big beard. It doesn't matter if you sag your pants. I don't really think it does, as long as the results are there and you're doing what you got to do. And people put a lot of credit on the appearances of antiquated social norms, and I get where he's coming from. It's more cross-cultural than you'd think is all I'm trying to say. So I really appreciated that lines there and the idea he's trying to express. But something I really like is, yo, I can't get mad because you look at me, because on the real, yo, look at me. Cockiest fucking line ever. I love it. But then he follows it up with substantial shit, because he goes, yo, it always be the haters that be sitting in the rear, dissing every year, but they better listen here. You cats keeping it real. You cats is on your own, because being broke and alone is something you can't condone. And I get where he's coming from, and I see this actually more and more in my life as time goes on. I'm 30 now, and I've chosen the path of success. The path of success, I might not be the most successful person, but it often kind of has a lot more business and, as some folk would call it, selling out than you ever imagined in your life. So you have this whole group of people who may be super proud of their boring, mediocrity-driven lives and such, and they're criticizing Mase for his lavish, exaggerated way of being, yet he's sitting there killing it, and other people might not be following suit there. It's totally interesting because, you know what, he's against being broken alone. And I get where he's coming from. It's a stupid way to end up in life, and if you can avoid that, you should, whatever. So I thought it was pretty solid, because if you really listen to where he's coming from in these lines, he has some pretty solid messaging into it. He's one of the it very much reminds me of Lil Yachty. Lil Yachty has said a lot of the same things Mase has said on this album in the 2 Lil Yachty projects I've reviewed. Not as good, not as talented, but thematically it's very interesting. My favorite part, though, has to be when he goes, telling me how she met Puff down at the Grammys. He ain't tell you I was the one with no panties. Boo, you know how many he meet with no panties?
Yep.
Please tell me something that I don't know, like if we have sex, you don't want dough. And that's interesting. He's saying, impress me. Tell me that you're trying to fuck me, and you're not trying to get some cash out of me at the end, and that your pantyless situation isn't just a ploy. So I like that. I like that he has integrity. Anyway, 4.5 on 5. It deserves to be a hit. It's one of those hits. I'm pretty sure I've heard this in bad boy montages over the years. And yeah, the next one is a very interesting skit. It's all about Bonnie and her friends, the White Girl Interlude.
Hello?
Hello, can I speak to Julie?
Speaking.
All right. So you hear Mo Money, Mo Problems playing in the background.
Yep.
A guy is with Mase. He calls up the phone. Julie answers. He says he's got Mase. Becky picks up. Julie believes it's Mase. Becky doubts it's Mase. They describe the location of Harlem World and abandoned buildings to show whatever. And then the song ends. And I gave it a 3 on 5. I have nothing here. I don't know if it was funny or not. It just didn't do very much for me.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's just sort of like him surprising these 2 white girls on the phone. He's just calling them. And like, was Becky like the most popular name back in the day? Because like, it seems like all white girls to like black rappers at this time are named Becky.
And Julie.
Well, it just makes me think of
oh my God,
yeah.
Becky. Look at her. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It was just funny. Maybe it was.
I met a few Rebeccas in my life. I've met a couple Beccas. I never met a Becky.
I think I know one.
Never.
So yeah, not that many. Yeah, I mean that's it. It is what it is. I gave it a 3.5 on 5.
All right, let's move on to something that I think everybody actually does know this song. Love You So.
They must think Mase is on the rush, cinnamon tip, dusty denim tip, but still the main chip.
I'm pretty sure I heard this before. I don't know if I've heard this before. I know that hook melody from stuff.
I can tell you where you do know it from.
Where do I know it from?
The Shaggy and Janet Jackson song.
Oh, you're right. I do know it from the Shaggy and Janet Jackson song.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's how you know the chorus. But, I mean...
So maybe I haven't heard this one.
Yeah. So, I'm like, was he the first one? Like, are they copying him or did he copy somebody else?
Or is this just sampled from, like, some 60s song back in the day and everybody's taking it?
It's like Inception. Woo.
So, did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, it was all right. It seemed like a well thought out rhyme scheme on this one. Again, like it just sort of made me think of all I heard was like Janet Jackson singing, like the whole time. It was a good beat, but like there wasn't like that much that like stood out about this song. But it was good. Like it wasn't like a bad song. I give it a 4 on 5.
That's fair. It wasn't Janet though. It was Billy Laurence.
Yeah,
that's cool. Drop the Joint with Puff. Dad just finished it. Would have did more without censorship. And I kind of like that line right away because it implies that the success of his song was impeded by a system that is censoring their lyrics. And honestly, I hate the explicit lyrical content label. I hate the idea of censorship. I hate the way that
even like ourselves, like there's certain words and certain things that we don't say. We try to censor ourselves.
For me not to say certain things, but for a government, for my choice to not say certain things.
Yeah.
But for a government or whoever to clip the point of a message of a song because they're trying to control it is wrong to me. But and then he goes, talk to plenty chicks, on to many flicks, love when a girl say they want a skinny dip, call from room service, tell them to send it quick, want grits, don't forget, put Cheetos in my woo. And I'm like, what the fuck did he just say? I don't really understand that line, but it was hilarious at the idea of everything that he just said there. I just pictured Cheetos up inside of a lady, and that's where my mom went with that line. So I thought I'd share that with everybody.
Good. Thank you.
But I did like, who would have thought 95 spin twice, Mase be Billboard's hot merchandise. Players like he must deserve this life. Every girl a trick kid if you work her right. And like, man, this guy's a pimp is definitely something you get the sense of. I mean, he literally just kind of put it out that any woman that you meet in life is essentially somebody, and I think it extends to people. I would like to just kind of contradict Mase here. Every person you meet in life's a trick if you work them right. There's a lot to be said about if you play a situation correctly with the pimping mentality, and he does give us those codes later on the album, you can get a lot
immediately after this, actually.
No, I mean, there's that. I'm talking about the last song. He really breaks it down. But you can get a lot out of people, even without being a dick, even without being mean or negative. So there's something...
You get a lot more being nice.
And in a sense, I think that if you treat people correctly, you work them right. Anyway, my favorite, though, was Though I Puff Trees, My Teeth Never Yellow. That's a good thing to point out. Hello, I'm in the club jingle like I'm Jello. And then how does he end the rhyme scheme? With the kids. Biggest Tickle Me Elmo. I just wasn't expecting a Tickle Me Elmo bar in the middle of this. Anyway.
Well, it was like the most popular toy.
Yeah, people have been shot over it and whatnot. But I gave it a 4.25. I thought it was a pretty solid jam. It was good. It's like the kind of thing where I could see myself listening to this whole album, but not necessarily seeking out a lot of these songs individually. And that's kind of how I felt about that one.
All right. Well, let's listen to The Player Way.
Okay. So before we go into it, Bonnie did an 8-ball and MGG lyrical breakdown for which song? Are you kidding me? You did the whole song. You can't even tell the people. It's popped up in the corner by now. Armed robbery.
Armed robbery. That's what it was. I was like, I know there's like something about robbery.
Anyway,
armed robbery. There we go.
So I'd never heard of 8 Ball or MGG before that.
MGJ.
MJG. I'm looking at it on Spotify.
MJG.
Yeah, that's what I said. First of all, 8 Ball kicks us off here, and it's just the fucking chorus is good, man.
He's good, and like it's nice to have like this new sound on the album because there's a lot of like him and Diddy and like girls. Like it's quite like a melodic sound, and then we have again, it's the first time since DMX, I think, that we have someone a little bit rougher.
Oh man, but 8 Ball is just sick. Like, baby, I got all the herbs that I need to achieve. Smoke up a pound and leave you, bitch, in a disbelief. Inhale the smoke, and every word I wrote came out dope. Not like crack, I mean lyrical dope above tracks. Beautifully put, kind of inferring his knowledge and understanding of the drug world. And as he smokes his dope into the smoke filling his lungs, then gets regurgitated into dope-ass lyrics, but not crack, he's specifying, Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I really dug it. Everything I do be all about the loots. I've been kicking up dust in my polo boots, getting blowed on a dro, taking smoke on my nose. I get the world to a woman, but I don't love hoes. And he's definitely got that southern kind of rappy stuff. Like, I didn't know this stuff existed, man. The more I hear these guys, this style, this word use, the rhythms is so enjoyable to me. The beat's fucking excellent.
Yeah.
MJG, I had to skip ahead to him. He's just as fucking good. He was just at the beginning. I've been waiting 20 minutes, baby, and I'll drop your drawers and do something outstanding with yo jaws. Because he's kind of waiting a very long time, and he is a pimp. So in light of the fact that you've made him wait, it's very important that you now proceed to fillet.
Yep.
And, he kind of like he's used to women who are all talk and whatnot, and he's through that shit. So you better be down for filleting him properly and doing what you promised you would do. And he proceeds to go on a bit more about his pimping ways and how it's crazy that in light of the fact that people might say whatever they want, month after month, these women are handing over their money and doing everything they want as though at the end of the day they are actually preferring to be in service to said pimp, Mr. MJG. Mm-hmm. Smooth as fuck. Both their flows are ridiculous and fun to listen to. Mase does the middle verse, and he has some good lines too. I like when he's like, I can tell by the way you talk and the way you chit chat, you foul, and if you had styles, you wouldn't get back. You think you invincible, you hard to get at. I know you everywhere. I know everywhere you go, everywhere you live at. I want to be click clack and ready when you get back, etc. He's ready to go to war. You're not, and kind of standard, but. Honestly, next to those fucking pimpin' ass verses, it was just a little bit less good. Still, I love this song. This is the first song I can truthfully say I plussed it on Spotify immediately.
Oh, nice.
Very great track to me. It makes me want to go listen to 8 Ball and MJG. I get this a 5 on 5. Really refreshing and awesome track.
Nice. I definitely kind of agree and say that Mase was kind of outshone by MJG and 8 Ball. They just have like a whole different type of talent, and it goes to show that again, like there's connections. That these three rappers are rapping together and involved in a project together. I think that's kind of cool. So I mean, at least there's that. So 8 Ball on the first verse, he's good. He gets with the ladies, but he has to like hit it and quit it. He's kind of saying like he'll love you and he'll give you everything, but like no hoes. Like he doesn't want to like fully like commit with them. And then again, like I skipped forward. Mase was all right. He was there. And he had some good lines, but it wasn't anything that like really stood out for me. And then MJG, he's there on the third verse, and we find out, that he's kind of living like the pimp and hoe lifestyle. He's kind of involved in all that. They make him money, and they trust him, and they like him, and like that's why they like want him to like take care of him, I guess, and they want to still be his like hoes, I guess. So yeah, I mean, it was a good song. I liked it. Definitely. I mean, there were hits and there were good parts and there were bad parts. Well, not bad, but lesser parts. I give this a 4 on 5.
That's fair. Next up is the haters in the interlude.
He did, nigga. He told me he's gonna take me on the road. He's gonna have fun and all that.
So how do you feel about this one?
I mean, it was all right. I mean, right away we have like the subway sound, like that kind of ching, 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 ching. Again, it sounds like the subway in New York. And like it's just two guys, and they're just sort of talking about Mase and like the promises that like Mase made this guy, and like how like he's gonna like help him out and kind of like give him like a hand and like bring him into like his world. You know, but he's just kind of like relax, like this is Mace's time, like let him like, you know, get into it and start and then like worry about things. You know, then he'll come back for us, but he's just sort of like give him his time, like he needs to like shine and like make connections and do what he needs to do. It's just sort of like two guys just like chatting about him. So I mean, it was fine. It was just like a normal conversation, I guess. I gave it a 3.5.
Yeah, and both those guys definitely had very different perspectives. On the one hand, you had the guy who made it sound like Mase explicitly promised to specifically come back and take him with him out the hood, and the other guy's kind of like, did Mase actually say that? Did he? Are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't just some talk while we was all out there? Like, are you sure you're not reading too much into it?
Yeah.
But it also kind of sounded like the guy who was questioning was almost like, are you sure that you're not really like kind of like waiting for Mase to come take you at the hood instead of doing your own thing? Like he's like, yeah, well I gotta shine too. I want to shine. Everyone want to shine. And he's like, yeah, but everyone has their time. And everyone got to do their own thing to make it happen a little bit. And I kind of got the sense that he was telling the dude, don't be fucking lazy with it too. I like this one. I thought it was a bit better. I gave it a 4. Not much else to it, and it goes right into the next track, which is Folk Wanna Act.
Get low, put a fool in the yoke, two to a stroke, take his jewels in his coat, more than likely.
Okay, we have Mr. Busta Bus up on this one.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah, he doesn't have like much of it, but I mean he's on like the hook, and he's just sort of like yelling in like the background. I mean, and he's good. He's there. He like sort of like echoes back, I guess, sort of. He echoes Mase, and he does a good job, and it makes it more like interesting. This song, that's for sure. So yeah, he's so Mase comes in. He's just sort of warning that he's. Like he'll get hard anytime, basically. Like not like in that way, but in like musically and in life. Like don't think that he's like not like a gangster and not tough. Like he's gonna get involved, and he's just sort of telling stories of like danger and like hard times that he like lived through. And he'll kick your ass or kill you if if need be. And he just sort of knows guys that the guys that he meets a lot of the time are just kind of like full of shit, and like they're just trying to like use him, and like he's just like don't play, like I know what kind of games you're playing, I know what kind of person you are, and you can't hang out with guys who don't make money, he says it's just like easier, I guess, to like live that lifestyle if like you're hanging out with people who are like sort of like your peers are equal to you. So it's a good fun song. It is a tougher song and like more of like an upbeat sound. I like this one. I give it a 4.25. I liked Busta's part for sure.
That's fair. And it's definitely more on the aggressive side. Like this album has a clear split in it. It's got the half of the album that is more of the softer R&B, like here this one's for your ladies, and then more of the aggressive, hard hitting coming in. This is more for the streets, And this one falls on that second side. Busta Rhymes, I like how he complements the chorus and doesn't kind of like overpower or outshine Mase. Like, I don't know how a Busta Rhymes verse would have really fit on this song per se, but having him appear on the chorus kind of adding into the sense of the craziness and getting wild or whatever. I think he really gets loud there at that, and just having him added the more, again, that validation of here's another veteran rapper saying that Mase is the shit, but it really did complement that hook and brought a certain degree of life where it otherwise may have been just kind of flat without Busta. In general, Mase is, again, identifying how he's surrounded, and he can spot the difference between fake and real folk. Like, yo, you the type of cat in the building holding the cracks, playing son on the corner holding the gats, come through and kill, never blow back. you that never did, but send in the facts. And so you have this idea that he's kind of pointing out, like, you're the one who's there, who pretends to go through all this. You're, like, outlining and documenting, like, telling, snitching almost of the situation, but you never really did anything. You've never been involved. You're just inferior to the people who are actually making this life happen. And then he knows that he meets these people all the time. And if anyone ever does try to interfere with his business or his life, he will show them the 9. And it's one of the few times it really shows Mase getting kind of even bobbing a little bit. And it really is just in response to if you fuck with what he is.
Yeah, if you fuck with him, he will fuck with you. But I don't know that he necessarily goes, like, seeking trouble. And
one of my favorite lines on the album, in fact, one of my favorite lines we've come across so far is, "More than likely, you ain't got to like me." I relate to that. I'm coming to see that not a lot of people like me, and I don't think it matters as much because of another line I really appreciated. I mean, they think it's smaller than the weed in my roach, the seed in my smoke, the ain't cheap, they broke. Oh, that wasn't the right line. Anyway, I was thinking of a different line. Basically, if you ain't got money, he can't speak with you. That might have been a different song, but just thinking of how that line where he doesn't speak to people with small money because they don't think right. And what I've come to see is the folk in life who actually have money, have accomplished things. They don't talk or even sound the same as people who play Call of Duty on the weekly, and or whatever else your life is. People who play Call of Duty are fine. But just if you do just nothing with your life, and even if we make the same money, we can have the same amount of money in our bank account right now, I will not relate to you if all you do with your life is just waste it. And I think that's kind of what he's coming through, is just you don't have to like him because he's in a position where he knows how to get to where he needs to be, and he's just going to keep going, and he's going to make the right connections. And he's so set up now that he knows all the right people that it does not matter that you like him. Because who are you? And I really appreciated that. I thought it was really fun. End of the day, it is kind of what it is. 4.5 on 5. I really enjoyed this track.
All right. Well, let's find out what feels so good.
Yeah.
Your balls, lighting up drugs, always fighting in the club. I'm the reason they made the dress code.
Okay. If you have not seen the music video to this, Mase is all over the place.
And it's so
Daddy, like headbanging with his arm up.
Just like the outfits and like the designs like of that time. It's like everything's like shiny and made out of plastic and like kind of futuristic 80s like style. It's so weird. And
I mean to make fun of the music video because it's hilarious to watch.
Well, he just doesn't have good moves.
I never liked what they did with Puff Daddy's music videos. They're so funny to me. I get what they're trying to do. It's so funny to me to see it. It's not the fashion.
It's like the dance routines.
It's
that
Puff
are like...
Daddy, and he's front and center at the very beginning, like he's the king, and then instantly Mase is like he's goofy with it. He's just like popping his head in and stuff like that. I have no idea what they're doing, is what it felt like, but it kind of made it really enjoyable to watch that music video. What'd you think of the song?
So I mean, it's good. Like he's just sort of like, it's a solid intro. So, like, he's basically just trying to end, like, the East Coast, West Coast rivalry, like, in this song. That's basically what's happening here. He's kind of being like, let's be friends. And so I think that's, like, awesome that he's trying to be, like, a peacemaker instead of, like, a violent guy, even though, like, he's friends with, like, lots of people who have been maybe involved in, like, violent things. He used to have murder
in his name.
Yeah, of course. And, like, the hook is good. He's living the life. Like, he can't even believe his life. He's so lucky and fortunate. And he has everything. He has lots of ladies. It sounds like a radio hit. Like, it really just sounds like it was made to, like, just play on the radio in the summer, like, while you're lounging by the pool or whatever. It just sounds like a fun song, like, that everybody would enjoy. So it's good. I gave it a 4.75.
That's cool. I agree. Like, bad, 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 bad boy.
Yeah, which apparently was taken from a Gloria Estefan song.
Maybe, but it's definitely something I know I've heard, and I know I've heard this song before. I really like it. It's just it's a good single. It's a good radio fucking banger.
Yeah.
But the lyrics were really substantial for like the verses, like lighting up drugs. I was fighting in the club. I'm the reason why they made the dress code. They figure I wouldn't wild when I'm in my fresh clothes. I love that line. Like, he's like, yeah, they made us all dress up because they figured we'd fight less if we're looking fresh because we want to fuck up our clothing. Never heard that said before.
Well,
love the
yeah, they probably
idea.
spent a pretty penny on like all their clothes.
But the fact is, I have to let it go because I can't rip my shirt. It's just hilarious. Like, to me, it's really funny and really well said.
It's reality, man.
But I also like, here it is. It's like y'all be talking funny. I don't understand the language of people with short money. That's the line I was thinking of before.
Yeah.
That is a really great line. And everything I said on the last song about that line will transfer over here. I also like where he's like, well, me personally, it's nothing personal. I do what work for me, you do what work for you, and I dress with what I've been blessed with, never been arrested for nothing domestic. And I like that the fact that on top of all the other stuff, he's like, and I ain't never beat my woman. You know, he just like throws it in. I never had a problem like that. I've never had that kind of issue.
Like, good job.
But like, I feel like it's kind of, on the other hand, worth stating it. Like, it could be viewed as the fact that he felt that it was worth mentioning as a point of a metric of validation. Like, it's like, I'm more of a man because I've never had that happen. I got to give respect to that, especially, again, with some of the issues you see that are prevalent in certain communities. Not to say that I understand it, just to respond to what was said. Anyway, I gave this a 5 on 5. This is a fucking smash hit. I really dug this track. So what you want us to review next week? Wink, wink. It's been decided. So I knew this song. Again, I found myself singing the chorus, and I didn't even, so this is obviously a hit.
It just like throws me back into like childhood. Like, I'm instantly transported.
Like driving in my parents' car, and this came on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So what'd you think? You like it?
Yeah. I mean, we've got Total featured on this as well. I mean, they're like a girl group at the time. So he basically just wants his girl to have everything and live like the high life with him, but like she kind of has to like prove her worth and like do good things herself. Like, she needs to like have her own, and like that he sort of says like, oh, she better show him that like, that he's worth it and that she like really loves him and whatever, and that he doesn't like cheat on him when he's on tour. He doesn't want to hear about that, and like don't lie to him. And he's just sort of like laying down the law about basically what he wants out of a girl and out of life, I guess. And then he also says that she comes second to money. Even if she's like with someone else, like he just wants her to be happy. He's like looking out for her best interest. Like he does like appreciate this girl and love her and knows that she's one of the good ones. And so he wants her, like, even if, if things don't work out with them, he'll be happy for her even if she like moves on. So, I mean, I love this song mostly because of like nostalgia. So I gave it a 4.75 again. Yeah, I really like this one. It's fun.
Yeah, no. I have to confess, the sounds at the very beginning, that kind of sound at the beginning, I was just expecting to hear Juicy J go slob on my knob. Like, I don't know why. If you ever had that feeling, if you go back and you play that, let me know if I'm just crazy, but that was my first thoughts. And then the song kicked in and did its thing. Yeah, you're right. He's kind of coming in and he's like laying it out, like anything in your path, you can have it, walk through the mall. If you like it all, you can grab it, total it all up, put it on my tab, and then tell your friends all the fun you had. So part of it isn't just about the girl, it's about his reputation. He wants to let it be known that Mase is this kind of guy. He's willing to take you out there. He's willing to do all of the lovely things for you.
He'll give you like the best life.
But yeah, and then he does kind of lay down the law a bit, and if I'm not mistaken, he goes, and she smashed his car and lied about it and shit, and like, I ain't gonna ask who smashed the E-Class, pull up in the crib with the whole front crash, now you want to laugh, good thing it's in the past, if you ever lie again, girl, that'll be our last.
Yep.
So he's like, look, I'll let it go, I'll pretend that this isn't an issue, but he's kind of pointing out that, like, listen, your mistakes cost me money, is what he's kind of laying out in the earlier part of the verse. And I think he's like, look, I don't really mind per se, but like, yo, you fucked up my car. That has a 5-figure price tag attached to that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Etc., etc. Act your place and don't fucking lie to me. At least be upfront if you fuck up and shit. Anyway, but then all of a sudden, now the more you treat me royal, I adore you. That's why I don't mind doing these things for you. You did things for me, whatever. In a year or two, girl, I could see you having my kids. You make a thug want to get a legal gig. It's kind of sweet. It's really nice. Like, all of a sudden, she's his future. And yeah, the part at the end where he also kind of lays it down like, look, everybody loves you, and
he just sort of says, like,
I know that you care for me, but if you end up with somebody else, it's more important for me that you be happy.
Yeah, he's sort of saying, like, listen, like, this is what I want. Like, if you can't handle this or if things don't work out, like, I still like you and I still want you to be happy.
Oh, there's definitely another line somewhere in the album, and we'll get there soon, where he implies a little bit like he just expects that his girls are going to cheat on him. So, and anyway, but I gave this one a 5 on 5. I really dug this song. I thought it was really honest. Now,
yeah.
I don't have to agree with everything he wants ethically. I don't have to think the same way he does, but I appreciate when somebody lays down their honesty and lays down how they see things. And I think he seems pretty fair, is all I'm trying to say. Like, he doesn't sound like a misogynist or something overly negative. I appreciate where Mase is coming from.
Well, all right. Well, let's listen in on a phone conversation.
What's happening?
That's good.
Oh, hold on.
This little skit actually played at the beginning of the music video for, I believe it's, what is it? Feels So Good.
Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah, that happened, and it's just a conversation. Girl 1 calls him, wants to smash, and as he's making plans with Girl 1, Girl 2 calls, and then he wants to smash. So he puts Girl 2 on hold, goes back to Girl 1, confirms the plans.
Their names are Ariane and Gina.
And when he goes back to Gina, he fucks up the names, and then she gets mad at him, and then like
he calls her Ariane, and then Lisa, yeah.
And then you can see him in the video like, oh, whoop, whoop, whatever. She's like, you know what? Well, if you want to mess up names and blah 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 blah, I was trying to get Puffy that night at the club. I wasn't trying to get you, and that was the whole skate. You can hear some Biggie playing in the background. Honestly, I get it as a 3. I get it. I get what he's trying to do. I don't think it's that funny. The entertainment was not on in my eyes.
All right. Well, I mean, that's basically what it is. It's only like 1:48. I did think it was kind of funny though, and I thought it was more funny that he would include this on his album of him like kind of getting caught like 2-timing. Like it's just funny like that he would want to show the world this, like this was important to him. Anyways, that was it. I thought it was interesting. She hangs up on him, obviously, and yeah, I gave it a 4.5. I liked it.
All right. Well, cheat on you.
All right.
Is what they told me to do.
Who said that?
Okay. So another song. This one features 112, Jay-Z, and Lil Cease.
Yep.
Go Bonnie.
So he just sort of says like, why would your girl like cheat on you? Like it's not their fault. Like it's your fault. He's kind of just saying like, think about it.
Well, he said if she got with you when she already had a man, why wouldn't she cheat on you?
Yeah, of course. And like that's what, like is kind of coming across. And he's like, yeah, he's like, don't be like, you're a fool if you think girls don't cheat. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just an interesting song, like with a, it's an honest message, that's for sure. And we've got Jay-Z, and like, he's there. He sounds good. He's cool. I liked him. He made the song decent. I gave it a 4 on 5. Yeah, I liked it. It was solid. It was fine.
I mean, this one spoke volumes to me. There definitely is this idea out there that men seem to cheat more than women, even though statistically we all cheat the same.
Well, yeah. I mean, it takes a woman, right, to be cheating on with.
Well, I mean, I guess there's this idea that women are inherently more loyal than men, whether or not that's true. I think he's just trying to put it out here that, like, y'all are a little bit crazy to think that you can go out there and cheat on whoever you want and your woman is not back at home doing the same,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. And, like, you have to think about it. It's like, if she's, on her own and she's doing her own thing, like,
and you're not even there paying attention to her because you're too busy creeping.
Yeah, then like she's gonna cheat on you. Like, what do you expect? Like, it's your fault.
I don't know. I like how Mase just starts it though. If I'm in the streets or I'm in my Jeep and I whip my Pete mics, know not to speak, see it's all good and it's all sweet. All women flirt, all women cheat. Starts us off going in like that. And then if you knew what I knew, you wouldn't be giving her pearls. If you knew that she cheap, then why you live with the girl? Half you cats couldn't live in my world because you couldn't picture another hitting your girl. What? And then I didn't really quote anything from Jay-Z.
I think the pearls is a different type of necklace.
But I guess where I'm coming from is I like the fact that these men seem to be like okay with their women participating in similar lifestyles. Like they're very fair with it, right? This isn't some.
It's good. It's not sexist.
Well, like because you have like a certain brand of this where men do whatever they want and expect women to be loyal while they get to do what they want.
Yeah.
And these men are a little more realistic. They're basically saying, I'm going to do what I want, but I can't be totally shocked if all my boys are trying to fuck her and she ends up banging a couple along the way. Like, how could I, you know?
Yep.
And that's amazing to me. I think that the message of this song is pretty actually strong for how it might not be so obvious to people. I dug it. I gave it a 4.5 on 5. I think even 112 sounds really great with their singing on that chorus to kind of contrast anything. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this star-studded 24 Hours to Live.
Kick the bucket, fuck it. I probably eat some fried chicken and drink a Nantucket, then go get a job.
What a fucking lineup, eh? So Puff Daddy starts us off asking, and I just want to read it, like, because I was surprised at how much I liked Puff on this. I want to ask you one question. If you had 24 hours to live, what would you do? That's some deep shit right here. There, a lot of pressure. How would you handle it? And then Mase, what would you do? Which starts off the song. Mase comes in, does his verse, and then each of the various rappers take their
says what they would do if they only had 24 hours to live, and they knew that.
And so what did you think?
I thought it was a really cool song idea and like really interesting and diverse, like, you know, asking all these people, you know, like what they would do if they only had 24 hours to live. And they all kind of give like different responses. There's like, anyways, yeah. So like Mase comes in and he just sort of like, I'm just going to give like the gist of like what each of one of them wanted. So Mase just wanted to like sort of give insight to everybody. He wanted to like, you know, just like make a better message and leave like the world better, I guess. We've got Jadakiss on the second verse. Jadakiss, sorry. Does more stuff like for himself, so he's like a little bit more selfish, I guess. You know, he just wants to like enjoy his like last 24 hours. So we've got Black Rob, and he just sort of like wants to get revenge and then just come home and hang out with his kids. And Puff Diddy, you know, is asking the question again on the hook, and like it's good. It is really good. We've got Sheik, I believe, and he's saying that he would rob a bank, and you know he's just sort of like trying to get money for his kids, and then blows himself up and with like he's trying to like aim at the judges in the city hall. I'm guessing like maybe those who have like prosecuted him, or like maybe like friends or family. Like I don't really know. Styles, he would basically just
Styles P.
Like he would just sort of like kill and give his mom money and sort of like warn his little brother to stay out of, you know, don't be violent and, you know, get more invested in smart with like the stock market and like get invested in that. And then we have DMX, and he just sort of just comes in and he just kills a bunch of people, and then he like reconciles with his family. And then he wants to like sort of like leave, I guess, make a name for himself on the way out. So he just sort of goes to like Wall Street, I think, and then just blows himself up. So it's a very interesting story. And like you can ask anybody this question, like, what would you do if you had only 24 hours to live? And you're going to get, you know, similarities. Like there's going to be, you know, people are going to want to spend time with people or forgive people or do whatever, you know, but I think that I don't know. I just think it's cool, like listening to like people's answers for this. I gave it a 4.5 on 5. I thought it was very, very interesting. Cool question, cool concept.
That's cool. I mean, Bonnie kind of broke down a lot of their verses and what they are, and that is the sequence they come in. I felt like everybody had amazingly quotable shit. Like Mase, I'd never do shit like I do good shit like take kids from the ghetto, show them what they could have if they never said take every white kid from the high class level and show them what Christmas was like growing up in the ghetto.
Yeah.
And then teach folk how to spend, stack the rest. And I love that. He's like kind of telling the poor folk and saying, yo, check it. You can have more. Never really give up. yo, white folk, come take a look at what reality's actually fucking like and stuff. And I like that. Given it 24
He's like
hours
making
to
people
live,
swap lives, kind of.
it's like he takes such a proactive and like purpose-filled use of his last day, and then in like almost ripe contrast to that, Jadakiss is like, if I had 24 hours to to kick the bucket, fuck it, I'd probably eat some fried chicken and drink a Nantucket.
I think he like gets his hair done and
then get a jar from Branson and make sure I leave my mother enough to take care of my grandson. Okay, that's fine. So he's gonna take care of his kid. But then I love how he ends it. He's like, and I'm gonna play the lotto for what? Even though I ain't gonna be here tomorrow. So what? Like, he's just so fucking crazy. He's just gonna play the lottery knowing he's not even gonna be there to see the fucking results. That's a great way to end that. Black Rob is like, jump into whip, get them cats I wanted to get since the tavern, whatever, go back home, take a ice cold shower. What a terrible shower to take it anyway, and spend the last kids with his family. So it's really sweet, almost like the sense that every one of them has mentioned.
well, I think that you would probably take like an ice cold shower just to kind of like
Wake
sober
up.
up. You know, and like, so like maybe he just done something really bad and now he just
Right.
wants to like appreciate the last few moments with his kids.
That's fair. And I mean, I do like the fact that all of them have kind of mentioned taking care of their family in this so far. Sheik comes in. He's going to kill the dealer that fucked him over. And he's got one of my favorites. Fuck the bank. Went in there and grabbed the bank teller with the pretty face. Fuck her in the safe. Then have her take me to my place. We'll make a kid, but that's selfish and that'll be bad. For my son to have the same shit his pops just had. And I realized like he's going to take his bank teller that he's just met on the last day of his life and impregnate her. And then it's a bad thing because he's going to leave this kid without a father like he had. And that's kind of like a really, in general, sad thought. And it's just kind of fucked that that's what he's going to do in general. It's fucking interesting.
It's a weird answer. Like if he's like premeditating like this, like, and he's answering it like this.
Well, I think it's like he's
It's
thinking
such a weird...
it through, and then he's like, oh, fuck, that is pretty bad, that I would actually consciously go and do that shit.
Yeah.
Like, anyway, Styles P, though, had a really interesting one. Give the money to my moms and tell her that I'm gone. I would school my little brother that folk mean him harm. He should learn to tell the future without reading palms when they come in bullets. Be prepared with the bomb. So fuck being violent. Get stocks and bonds, which is a really interesting point. He's kind of like saying, don't take the same route. You can do it different, etc. But then fucking DMX is crazy.
He's just like, yeah, whatever.
I've been living with a curse, and now it's all about to end. Before I go, say hello to my whatever. But he's got to make it right. He's going to reconcile with his mother. He's going to try to explain to his loved ones that, like, he loves them. But then he's going to grab some C4 under his fucking coat, blow himself up, and you will remember his name. He wanted to live forever, but this wasn't fame. And I was really struck with that. Like, the idea of glorifying and immortalizing your name is clearly something probably most rappers, most artists want to do. And DMX, in his last 24 hours, is so desperate to achieve that goal that he blows himself up to almost commit
Literally
an act of
goes out with a
terror,
bang.
and then realizes at the last second, almost like a flash, but this wasn't fame, it was infamy. I don't know, man. This song got me thinking. It sounded perfect. I mean, I want to go listen to the Lux now after hearing this. I already like DMX. I don't know. Maybe Black Rob is good. You guys let me know if Black Rob is good. I get this a 5. This is one of my favorite songs on this project. Super fucking awesome song. Anyway, next up is I Need to Be.
All right.
Okay, so Mase is not a fan of statutory rape, and the girl that he met up with that was 19 was actually not. She was in high school.
Because he followed her to school.
And then her...
Which is kind of creepy in a sense, but interesting that he did it to catch her in a lie.
Well, he did it to, like, protect himself because folk go to jail. But what was really interesting is that the chorus of the song is the friend of the girl saying, I really want to mess with you, but I ain't ready to have sex with you. I don't mind kissing you, but I need to be, you know, loved and hugged and touched by you. So
Yeah, she's a virgin.
And the girl kind of needs a little bit extra attention.
And she wants to wait.
So right away, I really like this song. It was such a different approach to like the sex subject matter that you would think. Like the whole first verse is almost recollecting on how when he was dating virgins and all his friends would peer pressure him, and he would try to use this as like fuel to like get further along with the girl. So he's got lines like, so tomorrow I use that pressure to undress her, but the more I caress her, the more I feel like a molester. So I wait for the day I deserve it. But every time I go touch it, she say I heard it. I can't even talk sex. And then she say I'm perverted. And then she said, Mase, why can't we wait? Wait, I ain't worth it. And that's some powerful shit right there. That was something like, this has happened. Like, this is probably a real conversation that goes on with many, many people, where guys trying to get a little more pushy, a little bit farther along. It hurts because she's a virgin. She doesn't want to let him in. She feels so uncomfortable talking about sex and sexual related things that she gets awkwarded out and embarrassed, and calls him a pervert and makes him feel weird for being a horny creeper.
Yep.
And yeah, and then like the song kind of progressed, and then there's just a lot of great lines like, see, nowadays, man, you got to know these bitches age, because they ask it be real fast when they going through that phase. You fuck a girl that's young, you're gonna end up in the cage, because the mom, she ain't trying to hear that you never knew her age. So if you're not careful and you bang the wrong girl and she's too young, it doesn't really matter if you knew, because the parents aren't gonna give a shit and they're gonna come after you.
Yep.
But then in the third verse, he kind of gets really interesting with, I need to be licked from my head to my feet. To make a long story short, girl, I need me a freak. She can be fat, black, light skin type, slim. Matter of fact, shorty ain't even gotta like men. As long as when she grab my meat, she take it real deep. And then he proceeds to go on with much detail about the freakiness he wants this girl to do. And I love it. I love how fun he sounds. Like, he sounds like a fun guy who actually is into some fun, freaky stuff.
But he also wants to make it very, very clear that he will not eat you out.
I mean, but you can kiss his dick and he'll probably maybe do something back. Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. But I don't think it just goes to, like, I don't know. I feel like there's a reputation with this.
Yes. You can let us know if you perform the act if you want.
You don't have to at all.
Ultimately, I gave this a 4.5 on 5. I thought it was really respectful again. Like, Mase really knows how to approach this subject matter in a way where you feel like he respects women, he understands women, he listens to what they have to say, and sure, he's a player, and sure, he follows the pimping mentality and all this other stuff, but at the other end, Mase is the kind of pimp you want. He's not the kind of pimp that will just smack you around and whatnot. He seems to be a very caring and considerate guy.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much more to say about this song than what you said. He talks about like being with these virgins, and like they'll let you do everything else but like have like vaginal sex with them. I think he also talks about like anal with them and stuff like that. And he just kind of says like, maybe go after more like women, like real women, and like not young girls or like girls who seem like they might be too young. Like it's just too dangerous and you'll end up in jail. Like it's not worth it. Yeah, and he doesn't care like what type of girl you are as long as you enjoy his penis and you can take it. So, I mean, it's a very interesting song. I liked it. I gave it a 4 on 5.
All right. Next up is the last interlude on this album, so you better watch your back.
Yep.
All I'm saying is don't give my girl your number no more.
Another phone call. Mase gets a lot of phone calls. I wonder how this album would have played out in text message line. So I got a text and it read. This is from a guy who calls up Mase. He's a big fan. He's really into his shit. But stop giving his girl your number. And again, Mase is like, huh? Who's your girl?
Yeah, he's not
really caring.
Really involved in
not
this
really
one.
giving a fuck. And it's mostly this guy freaking out like, I mean, you're cool, Mase, but if you keep on fornicating with my woman, I've been to jail and I would love to go back. And I thought, so you go back to jail, Mase is just gonna go fuck your girl more.
Well, yeah, that's true.
And it just kind of is like, honestly, just that for like a minute and a half or so, and
he's just kind of like, all right, like whatever.
I give it a 4.25. I enjoyed this one a little more. It did make me laugh, just the idea, the absurdity. And it's like, if you got to imagine this is his regular life a little bit, that's got to be, he must deal with some very annoying people is all I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, I don't think that it's like necessarily an empty threat. I think that he is saying like, listen, I'm ready to go to jail just to kick your ass, kind of, or like get in trouble to stop you from like being with my girl. Like you're good. I like you. The girl, we like you over here. Like, but just stop giving my girl, your number. And he's just kind of like, yeah, okay, whatever. So I just want to know if this was really happening in his life. Like, was this? Like, is he that much of a player? I don't know. I gave it a 4 on 5.
Well, it would explain why people want to hurt Mase.
True.
Or more guns with my prints for you to frame me and maim me. Nigga, look at you and look at us.
Okay. Almost at the end. What do you think of this one?
So, right away it made me think of the Boy George song, Do You Really Want to Hurt Me?
Woo! Do you really want to make me cry?
Is it,
It's a good song.
was it Culture Club or is it just
All I know is the Muffin sings
Boy
it
George
in Shrek.
Anyways, yeah. So yeah, I mean, he's just saying like, you've pushed him too far, you've made him angry, and you're just jealous. Like, that's it, he's... and he says that he's too pretty to die, and like you hate him because you ain't him. So I think it like addresses things directly. He's, I think he's very like forward. He's just like, I heard that you didn't like me, or you want to hurt me. Like, he's very like direct with his messages and who he's sending these songs to, I guess. So I thought it was very interesting the way he did it. I give it a 4.25. I like this song. It was cool.
Yeah. I felt the same way about the hook. It was clear that he likes that older music, and that came through. And then the bars were fucking hard, and the lyrics are strong. Like, now you don't want to see me angry. Ain't enough cops or cuffs to chain me. Days to arraign me. KKKs to hang me. Insane me. You need ice picks to bang me. Need more than a straight jacket to restrain me, or more guns with my prints for you to frame and maim me. So he's kind of like coming through here. Letting you know that there's literally nothing you can do to stop this dude. You want to hurt him, fine, but these are all the you'd have to go to some pretty extreme lengths to come at him, and even to that end, you can't hurt him. You really just can't touch him.
Yep.
I like where he's like, I was murdered for 6 years, see no cream from it, dropped murder off, Mase woke up at Teen Summit. And I thought that was pretty incredible. So he was murder Mase forever, holding on to this certain way. And it's a really good example. Like, one of the laws of power is to be formless and be willing to adapt and willing to, like, kind of go with the flow a little bit. So you see how he was murder Mase. This was his personality. This is who he was. He cleans up his image. He calls himself just Mase moving forward. The next thing you know, he's on teen fucking music shows, getting all sorts of exposure and whatnot.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And I really appreciate the fact that he's so open about the fact he's willing to adapt and move on to it. Now, I know a lot of people might be like, motherfucker sold out, or he went pop, or whatever, but I don't know, man. At the end of the day, if you have a family to feed and shit to take care of, and you don't want to be in the old environment, you're going to do what you got to do to get out. And I think that a person willing to adapt and grow should be commended, because it does not sound like Mase here sold his fucking soul to get to where he was.
Nope.
I also like in every style I deliver come with much charisma, because he's proven that to be extremely true on this record. Knock it off, not with ya. I'm the one bitches live for. Don't get me wrong, you make it hot, but I make it sizzler. And I thought that was funny, because he addresses other people are good or other people have talent, but really he is the better one. He is the future, etc. I don't know. I give it a 4.5 on 5. I thought it was a fun song. In my opinion, it's a really good way to end the album, but it didn't end here. So
let's listen to Jealous Guy.
Oh boy.
With the entire Harlem World.
Do y'all like this song?
Yeah, I think at first, like, I didn't like it. I think the first time I listened to it, I was like, this is awful. Like, this is bad. And then, like, the more I listened to it, like, the more I, like, got it a little bit better. So, like, Mase can't sing for shit, basically. Like, we're really realizing that. Neither. I mean, Puff's not, not much better. And then so guys get mad and jealous when Mase sleeps with their girls. That's basically what he's singing about. And like, he just sort of sounds like they're making a mock of like this song and like of this style of like, R&B, like slow boy band kind of like singers. And I think that he's trying to be like 112. And so like they're just sort of like sounding like jokesters. Like they don't sound like, like they're just sort of playing with this. Like they're not taking this too seriously. And like he lives like a pimp and he follows like the pimp rules. And then he says like you can't be a player and hate a player. You know, like
it don't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And so I'm like, well, that's some good truth right there. You know, and so stop being jealous of him.
To be fair,
and
that was the 4th addition to the pimp laws.
Yep. Like stop being jealous of him and them. Just sing along. Like don't hate. Like it sounds like karaoke, like this whole song. Like
and I think it was a little bit deliberate because at the beginning of the song, you can kind of hear it's in almost a karaoke bar setting, and the voices are almost doubled in awfulness. Like there was like a backtrack that they're following. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And like so he just started saying like be a lover, not a hater, and you'll get further in life. I thought that it was like such an outro. Like it's just like a funny song to listen to, and like listening to like their attempt at being like these like
soulful,
these like crooner type almost like, and like they're just not like they're just trying, but there's a great message here at least. I mean, I thought I would hate it, but like I get their weirdness and their humor a bit, so I gave it a 4.5 on 5.
Okay, I don't feel the same way at all. I thought it was pure trash the first time I heard it. Like, I then got the joke that they are kind of making fun of themselves a bit. And, like, my name is I go by the name of Puff Daddy. I'm a Scorpio. Check this out. Girl, I really hope you can find... And you're like, oh, my gosh.
It's not good.
It's pretty bad. But, like, girl, I hope you can find a new lover because Mase can't take no more of you fucking him and his brother. Uh-oh. And you're just like... What is he saying?
Does he mean like brother? Like brother? Does he mean like brother? Like
his friend? I think.
Puff Daddy.
And now, would you be mad if I gave back your girl? Would it still be a problem with the entire Harlem World? At first, you were singing that she was your ex, but you was ready to kill me when you found out we had sex, and it's just funny, like, cause it's so whatever. And then I do like the 4 pimp principle rules. Number 1, you control the situation, get in the head before you get in the bed.
Yep.
Number 2, girls run like buses. You may miss one, catch another one every hour on the hour promptly. Very good to know. Number 3, what the girl ain't willing to do, you got 100 more girls, more than willing. Good to know, boys. You all guys who desperate.
Any fish in the sea.
Too desperate over some shit. And then the 4th one, you can't be a player and hate other players because it's kind of ridiculous of you. I give it a 2. This is 6 minutes of fucking nonsense to me. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a good joke if you like it. Otherwise, it's really hard and annoying to listen to. I appreciate 112's contributions. And it does go to show that they're very aware of what they're doing. And it is on purpose.
It's very intentional.
But I don't like it. So 2 on 5, it definitely hurt the album experience for me. I will not be returning to this final one. I wish it would have ended on the track before. Anyway, that's it. This has been a longer album.
What'd you give it overall?
4.25. I thought it was a really strong album. I think I wasn't expecting to like this album. And I know I didn't like the last song that for those of you who just came in at the end, I didn't like that. But I like most of this album. I feel like there's the R&B songs, the harder songs. It's got a little bit of something for everybody, a little bit all over. And it's meant to I feel like this album is a really interesting bridge between the street life and the pop life. And I don't know, maybe that's what Puff Daddy's all about at this time. I still don't want to call him Diddy because he was Puff Daddy at the time. And yeah, so I enjoyed this. I would recommend people to listen to it. I can see why we were recommended this album to review. I hope that y'all enjoyed this review anyway. So what did you think of this one?
I gave it a 3.93 on 5, so that's like a 78.6. I mean, there's like a lot of hits. There's a lot of misses. I do wish that he would stay with like being more of like a peaceful guy. He seems to be better at that and less of like a gangster. But I mean, I get that he's kind of, he's got diversity, right? So I mean, I think he's good. I think he definitely sounds like Puffy's like wannabe, like he's sort of like copying him or like his little minion.
Puffy was making him do it.
And I don't know. I mean, it was good. That's it. That's all I have to say. It was more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be.
Cool. Thank y'all for watching. We really appreciate you being here. Don't forget to let us know in the comments how you felt about Mase's album Harlem World, how you felt about our review of said album, what you think we should cover in the future.
Check out my Twitter. I've got Twitter now, guys.
Yeah, so you got a Twitter. It's YLF Bonnie at YLF Bonnie. And if you tweet her will read one of your tweets on camera. And if you do this in like a week, you will be trolling Chris, and it will make me very happy. So please send her.
make me more popular than Chris.
That's the goal here, because he's been trying for like months and nobody's done it. So if one of you does, it would be cool. Bonnie would love some followers.
Yeah, I think I have like 4 now. I just
follow,
started it today.
Follow me too at HSR514. I'm there too if you care. At Behind That Suit. The channel's also got a Twitter. Anyway, that's all we'll talk about Twitter. Have yourselves a great week.
Bye, guys.